This morning, I want to talk about no praise, no blame. And this phrase, praise, no blame, is really an expression, a reflection on equanimity, a cornerstone, as you know, of the Buddhist teachings. And it captures the essence of this balanced mind, it's sort of unshaken by the prevailing winds of worldly experience. And it's a simple phrase, but it really invites us to think about the ego's attachment to external validation on the one hand or rejection on the other. And if we can sort of hold that more lightly, it can really lead us into a state of inner freedom and peace. Um, Rooted in the Buddhist teachings, this phrase challenges us to go beyond these conditioned tendencies of seeking praise and avoiding blame in guiding us toward more of a middle path, a steady, a grounded middle path. And praise and blame are two sides of the same coin. They represent these dualities that we often talk about, the eight worldly winds, pleasure, pain, gain and loss, fame and disrepute, and of course, praise and blame. And they're described as the forces that pull and push. The Buddha described them as the forces that pull and push the mind into turbulence. As you know, praise feeds the ego, it inflates our pride, it causes us to attach to it, we want to hold on to it, while blame wounds the ego, it leads to aversion, it leads to anger, it leads to despair, we want to push it away. And both arise from external conditions mostly, our response to external conditions. Both are impermanent, both are fleeting, both are unreliable. And the Buddha taught that clinging to these transient phenomena or trying to push them away only leads to suffering. When we crave praise, we become dependent on others' approval. When we fear blame, we become prisoners of their judgment. So it's either way, we're going to suffer. Neither are avoidable. I'm not suggesting we can be rid of them. The phrase no praise, no blame is a little tongue in cheek, but because in and of themselves they're not a problem. Both are normal parts of the human experience. But it's when we crave the praise, when we get so we need it, we must have it, that we get into trouble. And when we push away the blame, we also get into trouble in terms of suffering. Neither of these are avoidable, but in either case, our happiness or our peace are beholden to external factors beyond our control. So no praise, no blame is just a shorthand way to remind us to break free of this cycle, to anchor ourselves in the stability of the wisdom rather than the shifting tides of external validation where we're looking outside ourselves for some kind of sense of who we are. The principle of no praise, no blame is deeply connected to the cultivation of equanimity. That notion, the ability to remain balanced, to remain calm, to remain undisturbed in the face of life's ups and downs. And this is not indifference, as I often say. It's not apathy. It's not just turning a deaf ear. It's a deep, compassionate understanding of the impermanence and interdependence of all phenomena. And from this perspective, both praise and blame lose their power to disturb the mind. Of course, they're going to happen, but because we don't get all caught up and entangled in them, they're just seen as more passing clouds in the sky of awareness that we talk about. Equanimity, we cultivate it through mindfulness, through meditation, through studying the Dharma. We observe the rising and passing of our thoughts. We observe the arising and passing of our emotions and sensations without clinging or without aversion. We see them as simply impermanent phenomena which come and go. And the beauty of that is that this insight allows us to become less identified with these external judgments. Rest in the stillness of the present moment, rest in the kind of grounding of who we really are. No praise, no blame becomes not a suppression of feelings, but a way to transcend the ego's constant need for approval or fear of criticism. If we live in the world of always fearing disapproval or always craving approval, we're going to suffer, and we're going to be brought out of awareness of what really matters. So this, at its core, the phrase "no praise, no blame" is a reminder to quiet the ego, this sense of I that clings to praise as a source of identity. We get identified with it, or rejects blame as a threat to our very existence. The ego thrives on dualities. It loves to perpetuate the illusion of separateness, and which fuels this cycle of craving and aversion. And so by relinquishing our attachment to praise, by stopping pushing away blame, we soften the ego's grip and open ourselves to the truth of who we really are. In the Dhammapada, which is that short book of the Buddha's quotes or attributed to the Buddha, he says, quote, he who is not disturbed by praise or blame, who is free from attachment, who is calm and steadfast, such a one I call a wise person. He who is not disturbed by praise or blame, who is free from attachment, who is calm and steadfast, such a one I call a wise person. This verse from the Dhammapada encapsulates the essence of this teaching as a path of wisdom and liberation. It's not about denying the reality of praise or blame, or pretending they don't exist, or trying to transcend them completely, which we can't do, but it's about responding to them with wisdom and equanimity. And here's the operative phrase: free from reactivity. We can just watch them arise, watch the wish for praise arise, or respond to praise with, gratitude. That feels nice. Put blame in the proper perspective, not get too identified with it. But in either case, what we're striving to do is be free from reactivity. This again is what the Buddha advocated and called the middle path, avoiding the extremes of indulgence in praise or denial of blame. So no praise, no blame does not mean rejecting all feedback. We couldn't do that if we wanted to, or becoming indifferent to the opinions of others. It just means to see it and approach it with mindfulness and discernment, neither clinging to approval or being crushed by criticism, just having it just knock us right off our feet. This balanced approach allows us to learn and grow without losing our inner core, our inner stability. For example, when receiving praise, we acknowledge it with gratitude, as I said, we recognize its impermanence, and we don't get hooked on it. We don't get attached to it. We don't feel like we must have it every minute of every day. And conversely, when facing blame, we can reflect with humility and discern whether it has merit, and if it does, use it as an opportunity for growth rather than reacting defensively to it. What can I learn from this? Maybe they are right. Maybe I am exhibiting this unskillful behavior. But in either case, the key is to respond from a place of mindfulness rather than ego-driven reactivity. Ego-driven reactivity. In daily life, practicing this, learning to just watch it arise and pass away, can be transformative. It can help us navigate our relationships much more skillfully. It can help us navigate our work and social interactions with greater ease and authenticity. For instance, in a workplace setting, we may receive praise for our achievements or blame for our mistakes. But if we respond to that with equanimity, we maintain our focus on doing what is right, skillful, and meaningful, rather than being swayed by others' opinions. Similarly, in our personal relationships, letting go of this constant need for praise or this constant fear of blame can lead to deeper connections based on mutual respect and understanding. When we are not attached, when we're not clinging, when we're not craving being praised or avoiding blame, we can engage with others from a place of authenticity, free from all the baggage that the ego imposes on our relationships. The phrase no praise, no blame, I'm having trouble saying that this morning, excuse me, distills the wisdom of the Buddha's teachings into this succinct guide for inner peace and freedom. It urges us to transcend the dualities of praise and blame, to cultivate equanimity and let go of the ego's attachments. By using this practice, we embody the principle in our lives of finding liberation from the endless cycle of craving and aversion. Remember, the Buddha talked again and again how craving on the one hand and aversion on the other were constant sources of suffering. And when we do this, we move closer to the ultimate goal of Buddhism, which is the reduction of suffering and the realization of our true nature. So when we tread the path, let us remember the timeless wisdom of no praise, no blame, and let it guide us toward stillness of the middle way, this solidity of the middle way. So that is no praise, no blame.